Hey, good afternoon, my good friends. How are you? My name is Raphael. We both operate in ministry, and so I wanted to send this message directly to you. There's been something that has been taking place, and regardless of what all we know about it, one thing we must do is be prepared for it. You've probably heard some rumblings about the changes that are going to take place in healthcare. But even before we get into that portion, we have to be reminded of one of the greatest callings that we have been expected from our Father to take care of, and that is His sheep. And what does that look like? It means that you care for the daily things that are taking place along with their spiritual needs. And my friends, when I tell you that there's going to be something that's going to hit homes like never before, I need you to pay attention to this. This is not about congregation size. This is not about doing things that are normal worship ministry things. This is actually going to the cusp of knowing that the people that we have been called to serve are really about to run into an unfortunate event. Now I've got to address something right off the bat before I begin to tell you about what we're facing. Is I need you to know, regardless of what side or whatever belief tactics that are connected to people's political views, the reality is when November 1st gets here, no one ever took an ID that says I voted this way or that way, because everyone throughout our country is about to be affected by these changes. But to whom much is given, much is required. So, as a leader in ministry, I'm coming to you as a leader in ministry to remind you that regardless of any of the stuff that's going on there, you have a responsibility to make sure that you take care of those that God has sent your way. With these changes that are going to take place in the most crucial area of individual's life, you're going to see it. And that's what we're discussing about dealing with the changes to healthcare. Now, here, let me make sure I break this down because a lot of times what I've discovered is everyone speaks about save healthcare or healthcare, but they're not explaining deeply exactly what is about to happen. So let me go really granular for you a second. Think about this. When we grew up, we may have been, now I'm 48, so I had parents that would say, son, when you grow up, make sure you get a job with benefits. And that was the note, get a job with benefits, benefits. And nobody understood, okay, what is this? Well, benefits were that you worked a job, and after you stayed there for a certain amount of time, then you got health care, dental, things like that. It was a benefit because they would then help you take care of those personal needs that are very important, that are often very expensive. Now, keep that in mind. Now the payoff to that was every month out of your check, listen closely, out of the paycheck, you paid a certain amount each month to go towards your benefits. Now imagine this. Imagine that you have John, and John has been a faithful member, right? And he's coming to church and he's doing what he got to do. He's serving, his family's amazing. And then John, regardless of what way John goes politically, was used to paying $100 out of his paycheck a month. And then this shift takes place, and John goes from now out of his paycheck, goes from paying $100 to paying $700 for his benefits. Okay, I hope that was clear because what has happened is there has been so much conversation about save healthcare that people have become nose blind, eyes blind, and ear blind to saying, oh, but I'm still this, that, and the third. But the reality is when this hits, it's going to affect the paycheck of the amount that they pay for their benefits. So much so that John, who was at one point a super faithful individual, now is struggling just to put food on the table. That's the reality of what is about to take place. But listen, there are options, and this is what I want to invite you to. I need everyone to first do one thing: take off every title that you found joy in, and walk in the door as a servant. Understanding simply that even before Jesus delivered a message, and as he sat on the mount, he realized that these individuals were hungry, and he did what was necessary as a leader to make sure they ate. And that's the challenge to you. So if you're still here with this video, or if you've turned me off, I hope you haven't turned me off, but if you're still here, let's meet on Tuesday, okay? Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. We're going to come together and we're going to discuss obviously what's taking place, but even more, there is an option that's going to be so effective. And when you hear about it, here's the best part. It is really connected directly to what we did as an early church way back then. And so I challenge you, leader, that you understand that this has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the calling that's placed on your life to help shepherd God's people